Hello everyone, this is Crota coming at you, giving you game 1 in a series, ReMinD versus Tho here on the infamous Echo Isle. Yes, thank you PGL for actually casting, well, on the official Blizzard version of the map. Much easier to find an official version than, well, all of those fake ones out there. Anyways, let's go ahead and break things down here. ReMinD spawning as the red Night Elf player on the top left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, over here on the top right, we have Tho or Samdan spawning as the purple human. Those of you guys who are looking for game sounds should be in. I've also been spending the past hour trying to adjust my audio levels, make sure I'm not popping, make sure I'm not too much bass, and all of those issues there. And I gotta say thank you for all of you guys who are currently watching so often. For those of you guys who do not know, I do run all of these recordings pretty much by myself. I don't have an official sound tech. I don't have people that monitor the cast and do all the editing and rebalance out the audio levels. What you see is what you get, and well, that's pretty much all I can afford to do in terms of time. I did have a little bit of free time today. That's why I was able to balance out my sound levels, and hopefully these sound levels will be good for now. I do have a couple soundboards on my desk that, well, my kids may end up playing with, so if you guys do notice some changes there, please let me know. But yeah, give me some feedback on the sound. Also, if you could, please give me a thumbs up and a like on the video as well, as it does help me. And shout out to the people who constantly out there are getting into like an internet fight on my comments section. You actually artificially inflate the number of views that I get in the first week or so, and because of that, it ends up showing up higher on the overall, well, WarCraft 3 search. So thank you there. 2 minutes have gone by as ReMinD going to start this Ancient of War creep, shooting an arrow at these kobolds over here. You can see that there's a footman, and what this footman's really looking to do is put pressure on this archer. You can see that archer is taking a bit of damage, and now the footman may try and engage here. Not going to really be able to, as the warden is going to be going in and trying to get some shots. All right, are we going to perhaps purchase up a Troll Shadow Priest? You do want to deny that Troll Shadow Priest from your opponent, and there ReMinD ends up getting it. So somehow Tho not keeping track, unable to get the Troll Shadow Priest, and we are going to see that Troll Shadow Priest perhaps have enough mana for a couple of Abolish Magics against, well, nope, it is not going to matter because it is going to be a Mountain King instead of an Archmage. Mountain King gonna make short work of this Ogre Magi creep camp right here. He is not gonna get to level 2. This is clearing out a 5-3-3 creep camp with nothing right before it, but he will be very close, and he may end up trying to set up an expansion here. Now the big question for Tho is how much he can really do in this matchup. Mountain King gets an off a Stormbolt, and that will give him level 2. Beautifully done right there. Using that Stormbolt, most likely the Wisp would have been able to just get a detonation off anyways by stunning the poor Wisp for a full 5 seconds. He was able to get the kill, get to level 2, and all it really ended up costing him was 25 mana for a faster level 2 anyways. Let's go ahead and take a look. Scout farm was placed down here. It is going to spot any units trying to make their way down south, and you can see that ReMinD's base is rather open. Unlike when you are fighting up against an undead and you need to have your Ancients of War very close by to handle the sheer amount of ghouls, that is not what we're going to be looking at here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. We are going to have the town hall now being built very quickly. It is now with 4 peasants. It takes 2 additional peasants to build it in half the amount of time, but we are going to see a lot of piercing damage between the Troll Shadow Priest. Beautiful fan of knives right there. Finishes off 1 unit there. It looks as though the peasant is going to end up getting taken down as we see some crazy attacks now. All right, archers, shadow melding right there. 2 peasants are all that are left. 1 peasant is going to get taken down, and now we are down to 1. Tho pretty much losing every single unit that made his way off over here, but he gets a little bit lucky with a bash. No Stormbolt, but wait, did it cost him mana? It looks like it did cost him mana, but the archer was able to shadow meld in time. A little bit of a curious change of events right there, as the Mountain King now may try and get a Stormbolt off onto the Warden. However, Boots of Speed have been purchased, and it looks like Dust of Appearance and Staff of Teleportation. Warden is not going to be able to purchase those Boots of Speed. Meanwhile, let's take a look back over here. A spacebar does not follow a unit in WarCraft 3, unlike like it does in StarCraft 2. Anyways, let's go ahead and make our way back over here. It looks like ReMinD does have one Troll Berserker, no bashes there. ReMinD does have a Forest Troll Shadow Priest over here, and what he's really trying to do is just put pressure on this clearing right now. Once the Warden gets to level 3, things are pretty much going to go from bad to worse. Level 2 Shadow Strike, very interesting that ReMinD went for level 1 Fan of Knives and also has level 2 Shadow Strike. And that means no blink for quite some time, short of a Tome of Retraining. Mountain King going to be in a little bit of trouble, but should be able to get away. Meanwhile, Mountain King may try and get off another Stormbolt there. He does have the units. He does have the Dust of Appearance, but decides against it. Very, very rarely do you ever want to try and surround a unit as like the Warden when you know that they have Fan of Knives. Mountain King still in serious trouble. Now going to be trying to run back here. One ensnared footman. Tho is just not catching those lucky breaks so far, as the Warden is sitting at level 3. But if she wants to put in any early pressure, she will have to use those Moonwells, which may come back to hurt. All right, Stormbolt onto the Troll Shadow Priest. Troll Shadow Priest taking a bit of damage. Mountain King ends up not getting the experience, as we see denial there by ReMinD. ReMinD so far playing a tremendous game so far, as Tho does now have the economic advantage and should be able to hold on to that for quite some time. Now, as things transition back, Tho most likely going to try and stay on his side of the map. He knows that he has the economic advantage, and the game will most likely now go long. The Warden doesn't have enough real damage to try and stop that expansion from coming into play. And you can see ReMinD also setting up another Tree of Life off over here. We'll be walking that Tree of Life down south. We are looking at a Tree of Ages, so we are sitting at tier 2, and we could be getting up a second hero, but most likely the Warden wants to stay solo. The Warden staying solo really benefits, just because getting up to level 6 on a Warden so incredibly powerful. That Avatar of Vengeance, such a game changer in so many matchups, as the Warden now still making the rounds. The Warden, however, going to have a hard time getting to level 4, even level 5. This is Echo Isle, and with the limited number of creeps on the map, you are going to be seeing that Warden stay at 3.5, maybe 4 for a little while longer. All right, Mountain King just shy of level 3. Really needs that level 2 Stormbolt in order to put pressure onto that Warden. Warden now trying to, unit's now going to try and run away. There is a Fan of Knives that really disrupted much of that healing there, but the Mountain King not able to catch up, even with Boots of Speed. Is going to be able to at least Stormbolt something, and needs to Stormbolt something, and he doesn't want to waste the mana. All right, the Mountain King now running around the other corner here. Could have gotten in front, could have got a Stormbolt off, and that would have been enough. Instead, he may have to settle for taking down the Ogre Warrior or Ogre Mauler and the Forest Troll Berserkers, as the units are now off into a run. All right, Footman now coming across over here. Tho, what is this? A whole bunch of mercenary camps right here. ReMinD does have one Ogre Mauler, as we're looking at a large number of units, and then all of these units are currently trapped. They are now in a bit of a run. Fan of Knives, as here comes the engagement. Tree of Life is quickly exposed, and now the Tree of Life may end up getting taken out. All right, what's going to be happening here? Mountain King is sitting at level 3. Footmen do have Defend, so all of the piercing damage that ReMinD has is now going to end up hurting his own units. Mountain King trying to get in front here. There's a beautiful Fan of Knives right there, as the Tree of Life will end up getting taken down. A Wisp does get Stormbolted, as well as the Mountain King still trying to get in position, trying to finish things off. You can see the importance of this expansion and the investment all right here. All the Wisp being brought over, and ReMinD looks like he will be able to save that Tree of Life. Nothing like doubling down on an investment to protect itself, and ReMinD will be able to hold on to this Tree of Life once more. Mountain King now maybe trying to engage off over here. Scroll of Regeneration used once more. Mountain King is sitting at level 3, does have a Clarity Potion as well, does not have a Scroll of Town Portal, so he does not want to overextend. Arcane Sanctums now being placed down, and this I am surprised about. You saw the number of Dryads already, so short of going for Spellbreakers and Priest, I don't really know why you need dual Arcane Sanctums. Riflemen and Mortar teams could perhaps work out a bit better, as we know your opponent is going to be going for that expansion right there. All right, let's go ahead and let's take a look at this down over here. Mountain King taking the low road in order to get into position, and it looks as though the Tree of Life will get taken out, and now there's the Staff of Teleportation to come in. Mountain King purposely waits and then ends up buying a Scroll of Town Portal. Alright, let's take a look at this over here. What's going to be happening? The footmen need defend. Are they going to be getting defend? That is the big question right here, right now. Tree of Life is still rooted. As soon as it uproots, it will actually take more damage. There is a Fan of Knives right now. Ogre Mauler trying to stay alive here, and Tree of Life may end up getting taken down even after all of that effort right there. My goodness, wow. Wow. Tree of Life falls. The footman falls. Scroll of Town Portal goes off. And that Mountain King pretty much left everyone to die, save for himself. Archmage now being chosen as the second hero, and this does come as a surprise to me. Your opponent already has Dryads. Abolish Magic is definitely going to be in play. Short of going Blizzard, what is your real strategy? You don't have Riflemen to take down the Dryads, and Archmage with Water Elementals is just going to end up feeding your opponent even more experience. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at this over here. Are we perhaps going to see a Stormbolt onto ReMinD unit? A Stormbolt followed by Blizzard. That would actually be fairly useful there. As you can see, Stormbolt now coming in, and the Ogre Mauler is going to be taking a little bit of damage right there. Archmage is in the backfield going Brilliance Aura first as the Spellbreakers are trying to finish it off. Is it going to fall down? No, 31 hit points as the Shadow Strike now goes down on that Archmage. Alright, Mountain King up in that front line. There is that Stormbolt again. Archer is going to get taken down very easily as the units are still dancing back and forth. We need to see more and more priests join in on the fight. Spellbreaker down to 38 hit points as the Warden now taking a lot of damage, using a potion of healing, or forced to use a potion of healing in order to stay alive. Alright, Mountain King now very low on hit points as well as mana. Needs to regenerate as much as possible as the priests are staying alive down over here. More piercing damage being added. You can see the Mountain King doing all right there, healing up as best as they can. Meanwhile, Rejuvenation now onto the Warden, who is already sitting at level 5. Priest may be able to finish off as we now see the mortar teams coming in. So mortar teams were built in the back, and that is exactly what the Doctor ordered as ReMinD realizes that she cannot stay in that location. Or excuse me, ReMinD cannot stay, and the Warden, she needs to leave, as they are now backing off. If I flip my he's and she's, well, when I talk about her, I'm talking about Warden. When I'm talking about him, I'm talking about the one controlling the Warden, ReMinD. ReMinD now making his way back over here. You can see he does have mastery training on that Druid of the Claw, which is going to be very important. You can also take a look down over here. The Huntsman getting finished off here. Archmage may try and get to level 2, but that is not necessarily going to work all too easily. There goes another unit there. Meanwhile, the Mortar team still launching more attacks. Mountain King in an engagement, in a location, and in a bad way in trouble. Gonna take a Shadow Strike as a parting gift as he teleports back over here once again. Alright, Scroll of Healing was purchased. Did we... no, double Scrolls of Healing were purchased. So the Archmage and the Mountain King, more than enough to really get around the big issue of, well, the Fan of Knives. Level 3 Fan of Knives will be counteracted by 2 Scrolls of Healing. Yes, that is expensive, but it generally, when that Warden gets into position without Blink, she is going to be investing a fair amount of her own hit points to get into position. ReMinD still looking fairly strong right now. Tree of Life about to be established, and the one big thing about this particular map is that the gold mines are relatively low. You can take a look at this. There's about, 10, maybe 12 more minutes worth of mining on this map here. So it is very easy to run out of gold on this map. If a game goes over 26 minutes, or this game goes over 26 minutes, we are going to see Tho running out of mana pretty much. Mountain King in that front position does get a Stormbolt off onto a Druid of the Claw that was in Druid mode. That warrants a very fast Staff of Preservation. Staff of Preservation has a very short cooldown, as you are going to see. Mountain King may try to get off another Stormbolt here onto the Ogre Mauler. Oh, nope, goes after the bear, and with the Spellbreakers doing some feedback damage, that is going to work out extremely well. Mountain King, however, very low. Fan of Knives from the Warden quickly dissolves any sort of frontline, backline capabilities, as we are looking at a Stormbolt now going down. ReMind's Drew to the Claw is just being baited to be attacked, but because of that rejuvenation, it is very, very difficult. Meanwhile, the Warden, down to 300 hit points, does have a Scroll of Town Portal and a Potion of Mana. Is she going to be able to use that? That is the big question there. There goes the Priest. Potion of Mana should be used. No, Scroll of Town Portal used first. Doesn't have enough hit points, decides to get the heck out of there, and will be able to come back in. Archmage sitting at level 1. This is going to be very dangerous. You can take a look. Ancient of War off over here. These towers need to come up, and need to come up quickly, as there goes the Ivory Towers here. We need to see those turn into what's it called, guard towers very quickly, and what you're going to try to end up doing is buying yourself time. Congo line of militia coming in from the main base down over here. It looks like ReMind knows that something is up, and we are going to be looking at a very strong engagement. Guard towers and arcane towers not completing fast enough for Tho, as Tho is waiting for those reinforcements. All right, one mortar team, 2 mortar teams that I can spot. Very difficult to see the additional ones there. I don't believe there are any more that I can spot right here, as the militia may be trying to engage. Militia, now a very, very bad call by Tho, as the additional corpses granted by the militia just going to fuel that Avatar of Vengeance. Alright, peasants desperately trying to repair right now, but ReMind now with a pretty much invincible army of units is going to come out on top. Fan of Knives going to mitigate much of that damage. There goes another mortar team. Warden still right there, takes a rejuvenation. Are we going to perhaps see a Dispel Magic? Mountain King still right there, going after the engagement, gonna try and chase. No, it is not. Mountain King only sitting at level 3 up against a level 6 Warden, and that Avatar of Vengeance just so strong at this stage, as we now see a Staff of Teleportation away. Alright, Mountain King now going back the other direction. Is it going to matter? You can see those Spirits of Vengeances, 17 to 21 piercing damage, immune to magic, the absolute nightmare of a caster army, as Tho looks like he's going to be running with his tails between his legs, trying to perhaps live and fight another day. Sorceress takes a little bit of a slow right there. Mountain King in position. There is a bolt, only a 225 bolt, really not a big drop off in terms of damage. As ReMind, is it going to get stabbed to preservation? No, but the Mountain King and the Archmage still have not leveled up. That is how low that Archmage is, and perhaps a bad choice it was. Siphon Mana may have been better to attempt to try and shut down that Warden. The Warden's Fan of Knives have been a problem throughout this matchup, and it looks like with the way the army is right now, ReMind is going, well, Mountain King, wow, very low on hit points, able to stay alive after getting to level 4. That 2 additional strength definitely had to do with him staying alive there. Archmage still sitting at level 2. Are we perhaps looking at Blizzard and what is going to be happening there? Blizzard could turn things around, as we do see a lot of bears into position and no real way to stop the channeling. Alright, Ancient of War does have the additional armor and faster walking speed that goes with Nature's Blessing. Archmage still wandering around off over here. Claws of Attack +9. Very, very strong attack, as we see the Archmage now perhaps going to try and test the waters off to the north. Ancient of War going to fall without much of an issue. Mountain King still there, has some extra mana from that Brilliance Aura. Mountain King, however, now needs to consider his options, as there is only 1 scroll of healing left to deal with this Avatar of Vengeance and those Fan of Knives. You can see that Tho is not going to be dropping an additional, unit anytime shortly, as we'll see what's going to be happening here. Alright, Blizzard's now making their way over. Wait, nope, no Blizzard's. Archmage, I believe, well, it looks, no, he has the Water Elemental. There you go. Yeah, sorry, phone call got distracted. Water Elemental is now in play. The Dryad count has fallen off a bit since there are more bears, as we are now looking at the mortar teams coming in to engage right here. Warden is now sitting at level 7. Anti-magic potion. Is she going to be able to blink out of there? That is the big question. Mountain King may not be able to teleport away. No, not able to do it at all, as the level 4 Mountain King does fall. Dryads and Wardens are all very low on hit points. Spellbreaker off there, just attack the the Dryad, and you get your money's worth in that exchange. Just turn around, just attack it, please. Yes, there it goes. Tho gets that one Dryad there. Meanwhile, a lot of units still taking more and more damage. All the units are now in full retreat as the Mountain King needs to be resurrected. That is still the problem here, as we are at keep 61 over 78 compared to 69 over 80. Hero level being the main difference throughout this match. All right. Vengeance now continuing to do some attacks here. It looks like Sorceress going to turn around, get into a couple of quick slows. Warden looking to do a lot of damage here. The units are now in a bit of a run. Warden and that Avatar of Vengeance still causing problems and doing such a great job. Mortar teams lobbying a lot of attacks right there. That is actually going to do a good job of shutting down many of those Dryads. Dryads are falling. Archmage already at level 3 now. Took forever to get to level 2, but level 3 in a hurry. But the number of units that ReMinD is bringing to the table is just far too many. Archmage not going to be able to stay alive. Mountain King still minutes from action. And by that time, by this time, that may already be over. All right, let's take a look at this. Ogre Mauler chasing Archmage, trying to run back down. Shadow Strike, Rejuvenation Steel, the only thing that is keeping the Archmage alive, as it is still trying to run away. So far, doing a great job there. Archmage still staying alive as he runs all the way back. Archmage now in a bit of trouble. Mortar team still being added to the army. 51 over 78 as the Bears are most likely just going to come into that front line location and absolutely try to wreck everything. Now, once your opponent has gone this heavily into Bears, there is no reason why you do not, I repeat, do not go for a handful of Griffins. Those Dryads, yes, are going to be able to shoot down your Griffins, but you have the mortar teams that properly cancel that or counter that already. Water Elemental now is going to be taking a little bit of damage here. As you can see, the Nightcrawler trying to spread all of that poison. Tho still has a chance to get back into this game, but it is going to rely on ReMinD making some very, very big mistakes at this point, since ReMinD has that level 7 Warden. Level 7 Warden against a level 4 Mountain King and a level 3 Archmage. The sum of 2 does not equal 1, not at this stage, or level 8 Warden. Alright, at some point, ReMinD may even consider trying to get a second hero just so that he can still continue to gain experience. Alright, there is that Avatar of Vengeance. You can see, take a look at their Tome of Agility now quickly picked up. ReMinD going to take a lot of damage there. Are we going to perhaps see a surround? Oh my goodness, it looks like we could get a surround here. ReMinD getting trapped into a corner. And if this Avatar of Vengeance does go down, that may be enough. But no, Warden now brings over the rest of the fight. And I believe that is pretty much going to be it. Beautiful, beautiful Potion of Invulnerability to dodge what I thought to be a store bolt for just a moment, as the Warden now attempts to clean things up. Shadow Strike followed by Fan of Knives, and that Warden finishes off that Archmage in no time flat. Warden may even get to level 9 in this matchup, as we see Mortar team now getting taken down. One more kill should do it. There's level 9, and a level 9 Warden instantly gets the GG from Tho. Alright, no more gold from the northern location. Down over here, only 3 more minutes of gold, and ReMinD easily taking game 1 in the series, more than doubling his opponent in the hero score category. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed game 1. Please stay tuned for game number 2.